Good morning. Good morning. I Sell Medicare Plans group. Good morning. This is Faye, and I Sell Medicare Plans. I will give you a few more minutes to join us. This is something new, so maybe you knew about it and maybe you didn't. But once a month, we're going to do a live here, and it will be right now, is scheduled for the fourth Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, there will be recordings and it will be in the Facebook group so that you can watch it later. But it's important to be here for those few minutes live so that you can ask your questions in real time and get real time answers. The purpose of this is to just make sure that we know certain things about selling and how to actually be the best person, the best insurance professional to offer Medicare programs. That's what it's all about. I'm not recruiting. I'm not asking you to do this with me. What I want you to know, no matter who you're with, no matter where you work, is what are those tips that can help you? And today our topic is about, do we think a lot about no's? And what do we think about no's? And what is the real answer that we should be getting? Let me just kind of stop our music and we'll go right into our presentation for today. Now that's quiet. So you had a little bit of jazz music to bring you in so that you would at least have the atmosphere set for you. What I'm going to talk about is it's sometimes known as the silent killer in sales. And you may think that that is a no. And by the way, if you haven't had your morning coffee, please get your cup of coffee and join me because I'm having my coffee with you this morning. So you might think that the terrifying word that we hear and the terrifying word that we should be afraid of is no. When actually, what I'm going to tell you may be a surprise. No is not the word that you should be afraid of. As people who are offering products and people who are offering services, we spend countless times actually practicing what to say, making sure that we're compliant, refining the plans and the knowledge that we have of the various plans for our Medicare beneficiaries, preparing for the objections. And when it all boils down, most times the objection that you hear is not really the real objection. So you take classes, you spend money to learn how to overcome objections. And all the time, what you're trying to avoid is that dreaded two-letter word, no. Well, what I want to tell you is don't be afraid of that. Because if you're afraid of receiving a no, you're really afraid of the wrong thing. As I put into the notice that when I said we were talking about this, I said it's like ripping off a bandaid. It stings at first, but then it's gone. So someone tells you know what the answer is. If you have created with them the like, know, and trust relationship, and you're able to ask questions, you'll find out why they're saying no. And it may or may not be a true no, but a no is at least a definitive answer. So don't be afraid of getting a no. If you get a no and that is the person's definite answer, then take it and move on because you can learn from it. Before you move on, ask those questions. Why are you saying no? It may be because they just don't like you. It may be because they don't understand what you're saying. It may be because they're not sure of what they really, really need. So it may be that the approach that you took was not quite right and you can try it again. Who knows? But the real thing is, do not look for an opportunity to avoid a no. Yes, I know that no's can hurt, especially if you're just starting in your business and you're just starting to really get out there, and these are the first people that you're meeting, and all you're getting are no's. Then there is that train of thought where some people will coach and train to get as many no's as you can, because if you get a lot of no's, eventually you're going to get a yes. It's like I said before, the old adage, even a blind squirrel can find a nut sometimes. Well, you don't really want to take that approach. Don't be afraid of getting the no's. If you get a no, it's no. Of course, the answer that you want is yes. You want to have a yes answer. You want to have someone say to you when you say, "Do you understand that? Is this what you were thinking of? Do you feel that this will work for you?" You, of course, want a yes. Let me tell you what you should not look for, and let me tell you what really hurts. What really hurts are those maybes. When someone smiles at you politely and they say, "Oh, that sounds good. I'll think about it." That hurts. That can hurt you at the moment. That can hurt you in the future. That can hurt your confidence. That can hurt your ability to keep moving on. It's that maybe. Or they nod as you're talking and you're thinking, "Oh, they're really getting this. They're really understanding what I'm saying because they're nodding in agreement with me." And then when you finish, they say, "Well, let me ask my wife about that." Or, "I have to ask my husband what he thinks about this, and I'll get back to you." That's a maybe. Those are the answers you want to avoid. Or sometimes they'll just say to you, "That sounds great. I'll get back to you. Give me your card." And of course, you should not expect that that person is going to go home, go back through everything that you said, and just pick up the phone and call you. It generally doesn't work that way. Think about yourself. If someone were offering you something and explaining it to you in great detail, or giving you points about this and points about that and why it would be better, and you're not decided, you don't think that that's going to work for you, what are some of the answers that you've given to people? Those are those maybe answers that you really, really want to avoid. It's that uncertainty that eats away at you. It's death by 1,000 maybes. When you are starting out in this business and any other sales business, the maybes are the ones that you really want to fear. That's the worst part. The no's you can get by with, because the no's, if you get the opportunity to ask additional questions, you may be able to turn them to a yes. But the maybes are the ones that are just not probably going to do anything, but they will string you on and lead you on to believe that, "Oh, call me in a week. Oh, I'll get back to you." Or, "Okay, well, I don't have to do that right now. I'm in a hurry right now. I'll reach it back out to you." Those are the ones that you then have an expectation that eventually you're going to get a yes. You are farther away from a yes with a maybe than you are with a no. And I know it may be hard to believe, but think about it. Think about yourself and the offers that you've been given through your lifetime. we've all been trained to accept the maybes. We've been trained to see maybes, or I'll think about it, or I have to ask my spouse, or I have to ask my daughter, or I have to ask my husband, or I want to think about it and I'll get back to you. We have been trained to accept these all as being normal. And we've also been trained that getting those maybes is more acceptable than someone telling you no. But it's not, because most people are just being polite. Most people are too polite to say to you no to your face. So they give you those maybe excuses with no intention behind it to ever get back to you and move forward. People are too kind to just reject you outright. They've been conditioned to avoid confrontation. So obviously they're going to think of what is the simplest, easiest way that I can get this person out of my face. And that's to tell you a maybe than to tell you a no. So instead of giving you a clear answer, they give you the maybe answer, which gives you a hope. You get hope. They know they're not doing anything further, but they give you hope because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They know if they tell you no, it will hurt you. So they give you that false hope. They leave you hanging in limbo with the possibility where you can't move forward, but you also don't know what to do next. So that's more painful than getting a no could ever be. This is why you have to have people make a decision. So your skills in selling, your skills in offering, you would hone and work on until you're able to bring the person to a real answer, a real decision. That decision doesn't always have to be yes, but you don't want to get that maybe so that you're hanging out there. And you can say to them, if there's something that I haven't explained very well, will you allow me the opportunity to explain it? If there's something that I have offered that you feel doesn't work, do you mind telling me why? Continue to ask questions, continue to have a conversation. Use the tone that the person is using. They're being polite, so you need to be polite as well. The fact that they aren't making a decision is far more important than the fact that you want them and need them to make a decision, because you don't want to have a stack of people who have told you, I'll think about it, I'll call you, and you never hear from them. You'd much rather have a few people who have told you no, that you were able to engage by asking other questions that you may be able to turn that no to a yes. Now, of course, sometimes the maybes do come around, but the likelihood of the maybes coming around versus the no's changing to yes is far and few between. The sooner that you can get someone to say no, the better it is for both of you. And if it's right for them, robbing them of the opportunity to say yes is not the right thing to do. When someone says no, you can learn from it. You should adjust your approach or move on to the next opportunity. And when they say maybe, think about it. You're stuck. Yes, you are stuck. You're waiting. They'll say, I'll get back to you. They don't tell you when. I need to talk to my spouse. They don't say when they're going to talk to their spouse and when they're going to get back to you. You might ask when, and they'll say something like, oh, well, you can call me next week, or I'll call you next week. Next week is not on the calendar. So you're stuck if you're getting maybes. So when you're creating your presentations and you actually get the opportunity to engage with other people, just make sure that you are looking for a decision. In your mind, in your preparation, you want a definitive description. Decision. You want a yes or a no. That maybe does not cut it. So that's what this morning's chat was about. Do not be afraid of getting the no. You need that definitive decision, either yes or no. This is a sales skill that becomes developed over time. You learn from getting those maybes, how to handle the next person. You learn from getting those no's, how to handle the next person, and the next, and the next, and the next. This is Faye, and I sell Medicare plans. If there's anyone here who has any questions, please let me know. Looks like there aren't any questions, and let me just check to see if there's any in the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat. So this is Faye, and I sell Medicare plans. You know how to reach me right here in the group. I sell Medicare plans or on my YouTube channel. Please mark your calendars for the fourth Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we will have our chat in the group about something that is sales skill related. Thank you so much.